All right, let's get right into it. We're going to build a DIY drip irrigation system that I promise is going to save you time, save you water, and give you a way healthier garden. It's one of the best upgrades you can make, and it's actually a lot easier than you might think.
I mean, just picture this for a second. A garden that gets the perfect sip of water, right where it needs it, at the roots, without you ever having to drag a hose around again. That's what we're aiming for here. A beautiful, low-maintenance garden that's powered by a system you built with your own two hands.
And this number? This should really get your attention. A good drip system can slash your garden's water use by up to 70% compared to old-school sprinklers. Think about that. That's less waste, a smaller water bill, and just a much, much smarter garden. So here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll cover the why. Then we'll get into the all-important planning and parts list. After that, I'll walk you through the actual installation, step by step, and we'll wrap up with some tips to make sure your system runs perfectly for years to come.
Okay, first things first. Why even bother with drip irrigation? Seriously, understanding the payoff here is what's going to make this whole project feel so worthwhile.
So the benefits here are huge, and they all build on each other. Yeah, you get amazing water efficiency, that's a given. But because you're watering the roots, not the leaves, you're also preventing a ton of fungal diseases. Plus, the soil surface stays dry, which means way fewer weeds for you to pull. And the best part? You put it on a timer and forget it. It's a win-win-win-win. All right, on to section 2, blueprinting your garden. Listen, this is the secret sauce. Trying to do this without a plan is like building IKEA furniture without the instructions. You're just setting yourself up for a massive headache. A little planning now saves you so much time later.
And the plan itself is super simple. It's really just 3 basic steps. First, sketch out your garden beds. Second, measure everything. And third, group your plants into different watering zones.
And this map shows you exactly what I mean by zoning. See how you could put your thirsty tomato plants in one zone and maybe some drought-tolerant rosemary in another? This lets you give each group the precise amount of water it needs. It's the real key to keeping a diverse garden happy.
Now, here's a super important detail you absolutely cannot skip. Your home's water pressure is way too strong for a drip system. Your spigot is pushing out water at 40 to 60 psi, but all these little drip parts, they're made for a gentle 15 to 30 psi. If you don't regulate this, you're going to have emitters popping off like champagne corks. Trust me.
Okay, let's talk parts. Section 3, the essentials. I know that irrigation aisle at the hardware store can look pretty intimidating, but don't worry. We're about to make a super clear visual shopping list so you'll know exactly what you need.
So everything, and I mean everything, starts right at your water spigot. This first set of components is called the head assembly, and you can think of it as the brains of your entire operation.
This diagram shows you the whole setup perfectly. You've got a backflow preventer, that's for safety, a filter to keep junk from clogging the system, that all-important pressure regulator we just talked about, and of course a timer to make it all automatic. These 4 pieces are absolutely non-negotiable.
Next up, the tubing. It's really just a simple 2-part system. Think of the 1/2-inch tubing as the main water highway running through your garden. And then the little 1/4-inch tubing branches off of it. Those are like the local streets that deliver water right to each plant's front door.
And finally, we have the emitters. This is where you really get to customize everything. You'll use these little drip emitters for single plants like your veggies, microsprayers for big patches of ground cover, and then bubblers for your really big thirsty shrubs. Matching the right emitter to the right plant is what makes the whole system so incredibly efficient.
All right, it is time for section 4, the installation. This is where all that planning pays off and we actually get to see this thing come to life. Let's build it.
And the process is really straightforward. We're going to start by screwing together that head unit at the spigot. Then we'll roll out our main 1/2-inch highway. After that, it's just a matter of punching in the smaller feeder lines, popping on the emitters, and then turning on the water to check for leaks. Easy.
Now here is a fantastic pro tip that is going to save you so much frustration. You know that black poly tubing comes in a tight coil, and it can be a real pain to work with. Just let it sit out in the sun for about an hour before you start. The warmth makes it so much more flexible and way easier to lay flat.
Okay, pay attention to this one, because it's a classic rookie mistake. Do not get carried away and punch a bunch of holes for your feeder lines too close together. It actually weakens the main tubing and can cause a huge drop in pressure, which means the plants at the very end of the line might not get any water at all. Placing your emitters is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Seriously,
You just cut a piece of that small microtubing to the right length, push the emitter into the end of it, and then use a little stake to hold it right at the base of your plant. That's it.
Okay, we've made it to our final section, long-term success and frequently asked questions. You know, building the system is one thing, but keeping it running perfectly year after year, well, that's how you really protect your investment.
This might be the #1 question people ask. You've got these black tubes running through your garden, and it's so tempting to just bury them to make everything look neat. But should you?
The answer is a hard no, and there's a really good reason why. If you bury the tubing, you have no way of finding a leak or a clog. The absolute best thing to do is cover it with a couple inches of mulch. The mulch hides the lines and protects them from the sun, but you can still easily get to them if you need to fix something.
And if you live anywhere that freezes, winterizing is not optional. It's simple though. Just shut off the water, unscrew that whole head assembly and bring it inside for the winter, and let the lines drain out. If you have an air compressor, blowing the lines out is a great final step. This one little task prevents cracks and saves you from having to rebuild the whole thing next spring.
So look, a drip system isn't something you build once and never touch again. It's alive, it's flexible. You've just built a perfect system for the garden you have right now. The real fun, the real question is, how are you going to change it and expand it to support the garden you're dreaming of for next year?